in the deep south.
It certainly is. Look at this. I've got some scenes here from Saturday night. This is archive data, but what you are looking at is the velocity. You could see right there through the Birmingham area, we had 2 tornadoes confirmed EF1, but we also had a severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for our area, meaning that conditions were favorable for tornadoes. We also had a tornado watch that was in effect, and if there's one thing Saturday night taught us is if you have severe thunderstorm warnings and you have a tornado watch, you know those conditions are favorable. Certainly be on alert. But this is where we had a lot of damage here around Lakeshore Parkway, but the radar data picking up on that. But I want to show you this. This is some of the archive video as we were tracking this Saturday night, and it looked like whiteout conditions. We had severe thunderstorm warnings in place. This is from Brookwood Baptist Medical Center right off of Lakeshore Parkway. This is Highway 31 here. Notice the flashes. We had transformers blowing. We had the green glow because of hail with the lightning and with the storms, and it was just a very, very active night across the area. But when we saw this, we knew we had some problems right there in parts of Birmingham. But look at that. I mean, it almost looked like a hurricane making its way through the area. But when you go from a day like that where you had temperatures in the 70s to weather like this, freezing temperatures, you know here in West Central and East Alabama, we are going to have some big time weather changes. But a lot that we are going to get into here coming up. First off, we've got a first alert for freezing temperatures for tonight. Here's what first alert AccuTrack looks like right now. We have readings in the 30s, already 34 degrees in Gadsden. And look at these forecast lows tomorrow morning. The next big thing, a good chance that we're going to wake up with temperatures as low as 21 degrees. So tonight is a night where you certainly want to make sure you leave those have those faucets covered, especially for areas to the north and east. But very cold weather here to start the week. And now we head to our Bria Chapman, who is live in Mountain Brook, braving the chilly temperatures. But Bria, we want to go to you right now to just talk about it. I know for a lot of folks all across from Homewood to Mountain Brook, you've been in the first alert storm tracker and seeing a lot of where we've had some of this damage in parts of our area.
Yeah, that's right, Wes. And there is help available for neighbors out there. So you can dial 211 right now on your phone to get with a voluntary assistance group, a nonprofit through the EMA that's here to help clean up storm debris like what you see right now. The EMA deputy director tells me they work all year with nonprofits to get help for moments just like this one. And he says what you should also be doing is calling your insurance company and documenting any damage near or around your home. Now, he says that 211 will get you the assistance for storm debris. If a tree fell on your home, they can come out and add tarps to your roof. Whatever you need done, they will help you get that done. So they say they have dozens of nonprofits that they partner with, and they're just waiting to hear from you. So again, if you need help, all you have to do, again, to get help or volunteer, you can call 211, and we'll tell you more about this in our story on our WBRC News app. Reporting live in Mountain Brook, I'm Bria Chapman, WBRC, Fox 6 News on your side.
Thank you, Bria, and thank you. I know we have a lot of volunteers out there, and we certainly thank you for what you do, all the first responders out braving the elements, and we're certainly thinking about everyone tonight here at the holiday season in this cold weather that have sustained storm damage from the weekend storms. And we're joined by meteorologist J.P. Dice, who takes a look at the radar data from that night. We go into a more in-depth look at some of the severe weather parameters as severe storms moved across central Alabama.
Hi there. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of that radar data from Saturday night. Of course, a big system moved across the state, and we had some significant damage in Jefferson County. As you may have heard, Weather Service confirming at least 2 tornado touchdowns in Jefferson County around the Lakeshore Parkway, and then eventually crossing over toward Lakeshore Drive on into Mountain Brook as 2 EF1 tornadoes. West of Interstate 65, the radar data here and also the National Weather Service indicating estimated winds from this tornado around 100 miles per hour. And then as the storm moved farther to the east and northeast, those winds about 90 miles per hour. Lots of trees down, significant damage Saturday night. A little background here about radar data. What you're looking at is velocity information, and this is the radar detecting the winds toward the radar site, which is down in Shelby County. This is the radar, this is the winds away from the radar. You put it together, there's your rotation. And what I will show you, what comes to mind here when we change into some of the dual pole data, We saw this looking at the archives from Saturday night, and this is a little product called correlation coefficient. There's not going to be a test on this or anything, but what this does tell you is there is debris being lofted from this storm. So Saturday night, where you see this blue, this is what the tornado is picking up and throwing up into the air. Anything non-meteorological like shingles from a house, tree limbs, or even leaves, things like that can be lofted, and the radar actually detects that. So here we have it, a couple of tornado touchdowns from that system on Saturday night right in Jefferson County.
And now a closer look at the hardest hit neighborhoods that JP was just highlighting. The National Weather Service says an EF1 with wind speeds up to 100 miles per hour passed just north of Lakeshore Parkway from Wildwood to Sanford. The second EF1 with wind speeds up to 90 miles per hour traveled from Brookwood Mall into Mountain Brook and Cahaba Heights. And Bria was just joining us from Mountain Brook, and not just Mountain Brook, but as we've seen right now, cleanup is happening in several neighborhoods in Jefferson County impacted by these severe storms, one of which produced 2 tornadoes. So here's a look at storm damage across our area. Remember, even a severe thunderstorm alone, even if it doesn't produce a tornado, it is capable of producing straight line wind damage. And you can see these trees down all across parts of the Birmingham metro. And the worst part is if those trees, of course, you don't want it to fall in your yard, don't want it to fall in your car, but you definitely don't want it to fall on your home. That's why even with a severe thunderstorm warning, you want to make sure you go to that safe shelter away from windows in an interior room. But even outside of our neck of the woods, Lee County and Barber County were also struck by the powerful storm system by 2 EF0 tornadoes. One hit the Beauregard area, which is where a tornado hit in 2019, killing 23 people. The tornado came through early Sunday morning. And parts of Tennessee and Kentucky are also in recovery mode after a series of deadly tornadoes took the lives of at least 6 people and left a trail of destruction. Fox Weather's Nicole Valdez is in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Severe storms wreaking havoc on Middle Tennessee. Tornadoes touching down overnight, tearing through homes and leaving behind catastrophic damage in and around Nashville. A young child was among those killed in Montgomery County near the Kentucky state line. The town of Clarksville saw some of the worst damage.
It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of resources, and us coming together to get through this difficult time.
First responders getting into those areas today, trying to reach anyone who might still be trapped. One man who rode out the storm in Clarksville describes the chilling moments right before that tornado hit his neighborhood.
I could see a funnel starting to form, and when I saw the transformers blowing, that's when we're like, yeah, we got to go downstairs.
Another woman telling us she ducked for cover in her closet just moments before that storm tore through her home.
Immediately the whole house shook. I heard a clash, I heard glass breaking, it was a blowout, and I started crying and panicking and praying.
With so much debris on the ground here, residents are being asked to stay home and off the roads. Thousands of people are still without power. Crews are being brought in from neighboring states to help get the lights back on. Emergency shelters have been set up here in Clarksville as well as throughout Davidson County to help those who were displaced by the storms or those who still don't have power. Officials really focusing on getting people inside with temperatures expected to drop below freezing by tonight. In Clarksville, I'm Nicole Valdez, Fox Weather.
And in 30 seconds, we'll give a detailed explanation on why it's important to pay attention to severe thunderstorm warnings.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. In the wake of this weekend storms, I sat down with the National Weather Service in Birmingham today to discuss their warning coordination process during severe weather, and we discussed the impacts that occurred over the past 48 hours. A very active weekend with severe weather in the area, of course, as we continue to talk about the active weather that impacted Birmingham. We check in now with the National Weather Service office in Birmingham and meteorologist Gary Goggins. And Gary, you guys, as we were in constant communication tracking this severe weather through the area Saturday night, we had one of those situations where you have severe thunderstorm warnings, but that does not mean you cannot see a tornado.
That's exactly right, Wes. You know, we had conditions favorable Saturday night. 4 spin-up tornadoes along this line, this Boeing segment of the line that's coming through, called quasi-linear convective system. And so the conditions were favorable for that. We were watching areas of rotation along this line as it was approaching the Birmingham metro area around midnight Saturday night, early Sunday morning. And unfortunately, we had one of those occur there in the Homewood area, just around Lakeshore Drive, that moved eastward over towards the old Brookwood Mall location.
So tell us a little bit about, you know, when you guys are tracking a system like this, we have a line of storms that are moving west to east across the area, these quasi-linear lines. You can get these brief 1-2 minute tornadoes that can spin up. You know, what are the things you are closely monitoring? And we talk a lot about velocity, some things we look at on television. Just put us in your office for a minute and talk about what you guys are looking at before you issue those warnings.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking for continuity, you know, from scan to scan. We're making sure that if we see a velocity signature that is a gate-to-gate signature, especially if it's a severe weather signature that could cause a tornado, we want to see some continuity both along the surface, the lowest scan, and aloft. And we really didn't see enough continuity to really trigger a warning as it was approaching the Homewood area there at Lakeshore Drive. We see, looking back at the radar now, we're constantly evaluating this after the fact. Looking back at radar, it looks like there was a mesovortex signature now, very weak on radar. And at the time, it looked weak enough to not warrant a warning at that point in time, but it was weak enough to show up on radar. And that's what looks like actually happened. A weak mesovortex tornado that spun up within a 2-minute time frame between radar scans. The lowest scans are around 2 minutes apiece nowadays. So between that 2 minutes, we saw the one scan and then it was gone within another scan. And then we end up seeing another mesovortex signature showing up around Samford University over by Brookwood Mall. So very, very quick, fast spin-up tornadoes, extremely difficult to warn on, unfortunately. And that's what makes us really frustrated here, you know, that a lot of people say they didn't get a tornado warning, but there was a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. We put that out at 11:59 p.m. So people need to make sure they have the means to receive that severe thunderstorm warning. It could even have tornado-like winds within a severe thunderstorm warning area. So we need to make sure people have the means to receive those warnings, multiple ways to receive the warning.